Thank you.
Well, it looks like we've got a good group here, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. First, so my name is Paul Mittner, and I work for University of Missouri Human Resources and Learning and Organizational Development. And one of my team members, Susan Groshong, is the staff member that organizes the staff development webinars and sessions that we do this week. So if you know her or see her or you get in contact with her, she's the one that's put all the great work to make this happen. There's over 30 sessions happening this week, and we hope you take advantage of any and all of them that you can participate. There's other activities happening with Staff Recognition Week, so want you to take advantage of those. We're happy to do that, and we're glad to be able to see so many faces participating. I want to introduce you to our session facilitator. We have Jennifer Thornhill, and she's going to talk to us about ergonomics in the office or at home. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer.
Hi, good morning. Let's see, this is ergonomics, office or home. I'm so excited to present to you this morning just because I think that this is something that you will enjoy, and you can do it yourself in your office or at home, or you can pass it on to your coworker. But once again, I'm a certified advanced office ergonomics assessment specialist. I know that's a lot to say. I've been with the Adaptive Computing Technology Center within the Division of IT for about 21, 22 years now. I've actually been performing these ergonomic evaluations on campus for about 17, 18 years, and a lot of people haven't heard about them. So I have a feeling once word gets out, we will get a lot of business here. But they are free, just to let you know. They're about 30, 45 minutes long. I actually come to your office and do these evaluations for you if you need help with them. I also assist the Office of Accessibility and ADA with workplace accommodations. So if somebody has a disability, or if they have a progressive medical concern, they may go through the ADA office with ergonomic, or we call them workplace accommodations. So the goal with ergonomics is to increase your awareness, to prevent injury, prevent long-term injury. Some of you have entered into this session because you are hurting at work and you want to be more comfortable at work. Some of you are just health gurus and you want to figure out an alternative way to work, and I think that's great as well. I want to increase the awareness and the stress, the importance of a healthy lifestyle, of a setup, how you can set up a comfortable, safe work environment. And I want you to understand the sitting and standing postures, because all of this actually will maximize your productivity and efficiency when you're at work. So the science of ergonomics. When I look at the definition of ergonomics, I have kind of come to the conclusion that it is actually taking a person and matching them, or designing their workspace to fit them so they are working with all their tools most efficiently. And a lot of times what happens is we go into a new work environment, we sit down, and IT has already set us up with our computer. And so we're so excited to get started at that job that we don't think about how we're sitting. We don't think about how our workstation is set up, and we just dive in. And probably, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 weeks, or 5 years from then, you may be having pain, and you go to the chiropractor, the doctor, and they say, you might want to look at how your workstation is set up. And a lot of people don't think about that. So this is something that I want to get to you so you can think about it and rearrange those items. So the science of ergonomics, this is kind of how I put things together. So the first thing is, when I go out to somebody for a workstation evaluation, I look at them. I'm always calculating in my mind how to put this puzzle together. So I look at the person, I look at your height, I look at your weight, and I look at your body proportions. because we are all different. There's not one person to me that is the average person or they fit in the same category. So I always look at the person first. I look at the tools that you're using, the desk, the chair. I look at the computer. I look at your monitors. Are you using a headset for your telephone? Are you using an ergonomic keyboard and mouse? Some people may be in a vehicle for a long portion of the day. Then I also look at the environment. I look at the lighting that you're using. Some people have a lot of windows in their office. Some may be in cube land and they have those fluorescent lights above them. I look at the flooring. I had an office that I walked into and a lady was having a lot of concerns with her back. And the reason is she kept pushing herself backwards and it was the flooring. It was actually slanted. And she was having a lot of problems with that. So we tried to figure out how to work with that. And then the noise, especially in some offices, it may be quiet. At home, you may have noise just because you still have kids there. But in the office, sometimes, you have a lot of traffic. You may have coworkers that are talking, and sometimes that can be a distraction as well. So all of this, I put these three areas together and I maximize the efficiency, try to maximize your efficiency and your productivity at work. So why all the hype about ergonomics? This ergonomics has actually been on surveys for the university. We have done videos out there for folks. I've done videos for departments. I've done a lot of presentations because people are now focused on their personal health at work. Of course, we had the Healthy for Life at one time and the wellness incentive. We had, now we have changes in the work environment, a lot of moving around, plus a lot of moving home. And then also I've gotten a lot of folks who have come to me requesting evaluations because of chiropractors and doctors, again, saying, so you sit at your workstation for 8 to 10 hours a day. How are you set up with that? And then also the increased health risks that are out there, the cancer, the heart disease, the obesity, all of these play a role just because people are not getting up from their desks. They're sitting at their desks all day. The musculoskeletal disorders, the MSDs, joint pain and fatigue, that's a big one. And then also the mental health and depression. Not being able to get up from your desk, take a break, get that blood flowing, get that circulation going, it's not good. And a lot of us are not getting up and we don't realize how much we sit between sitting in the car, sitting at home, watching the news in the morning, sitting in the evening, being on the computer. But now we're also sitting at work and we're, you may be doing bills at work online, you may be shopping online. Getting your groceries online, getting those right. Anyway, so there's a lot of increased health risks with just this. And so that is why ergonomics has become a topic that a lot of people are talking about. Repetitive stress injury, this is huge in ergonomics. And this kind of goes back to why I go out to see a lot of people. The definition, a muscular skeletal injury that occurs due to reoccurrent or overuse of equipment. So when I think about this, you think about just doing something over and over and over again that may be uncomfortable the first time, and you do it a second time and you do it a third time, but you're not thinking that it really is uncomfortable. It's just you have to do it. I've given some examples here, but then I go out to see people who may be a graphic designer and they may have their finger from clicking so much, that repetition and that overuse has become tingling, or it tingles now, or it hurts, or it has pain in the end of it. Somebody who is pounding, if you're using a stapler all day, you can feel that in the bottom of your wrist, or your fingers or whatever you're doing. And we'll look at this as I go through these slides, even about how you're sitting. If you're sitting in an improper position and you're doing it day after day after day, you are going to end up with an RSI, a repetitive stress injury. So the types of concerns that I look at most of the time when I go out to see people, the eyes, fatigue and vision problems such as dry eye, double vision. I don't think people realize how much they are staring at the computer, how much they're staring at the phone or the tablet during the day, and your eyes can get dry from that. The biggest issues I look at are neck, shoulders, upper back, lower back, just because a lot of times the way that our desks are set up and the way that our computers are set up, we're leaning over and we're putting a lot of tension on those areas. And I'll give some examples in a little bit. Also the wrists and the fingers. You want to make sure that you're protecting your wrists, just because a lot of times we're resting them on the desk and they could be cutting off the blood supply. Same with the fingers. And a lot of times that turns into that carpal tunnel. Lower body types of concerns. The hips, again, depends on how the kind of chair you're sitting in, and that's why I also look at your chair. Knee pain, leg cramps, and cramps in the foot. So why be comfortable at work? It reduces stress and tension. It reduces work injury. It reduces absenteeism. I've seen a lot of people that, they're uncomfortable at work. And by the end of the day, they're leaving and they're tired and they're feeling like they're completely worn out. And, if you are experiencing from the way you're working, you may be using the wrong type of mouse, the wrong type of keyboard. You may be sitting in a position that's causing you to be uncomfortable. If you are doing that over time, you will probably experience a work injury, which will end up leading into absenteeism, because eventually you'll want to take a sick day for the chiropractor or the doctor. And a sick day may help, but if it becomes a habit, of course, then it kind of goes back into that vicious circle of having the stress and tension of not being at work and not being able to do your job. It also, being comfortable at work can reduce the unnecessary time and expenses that you are going to the doctor and the chiropractor. I know for myself, I was going to the chiropractor. I do have a chiropractor and I love her, but I told her, I said, I don't want to see you that often. I don't have the time and I don't want to spend my money on the chiropractor all the time. I love it when, I need an adjustment and I feel like I'm out of alignment. But on the other hand, I've got other things, and I'm sure you do too, that you want to spend your time and your money on. And so being comfortable at work, this is why it's so important. It also increases your happiness. It increases your productivity. And, for those that are managers, directors, supervisors, when you have happy employees, comfortable employees that enjoy their work, this is going to increase their long-term commitment. And this is why we do this for the university, because, and it's a free service, because I feel like if I can just help one person feel better, at the university or their job, then they can do their job for the university and they can do it well, and they will be there for a long time. It bothers me to see people that are just in pain. And so we have resources out there on our website, just to let you know, at that actcenter.missouri.edu, to help these folks, or to help, and that's why the ADA has their work accommodations in place as well, because we want to get these employees, long-term commitment to their jobs. Okay, so if there is one slide that you guys take something away from this presentation, this is it. You know, a lot of people will go over standing posture as well. And a lot of people like to stand, and I'm sure there's a lot of you that have these sit to stand desks. But to me, sitting is most important, because even when you're standing, you're putting pressure on your body. You're putting pressure on some part of your body, because your upper half is, or your lower half, sorry, is holding your upper half. So your recommended sitting posture is really important. So when I go into somebody's workspace, let me see if I can pull up my little pointer thing here. I don't know if that's my pointer or not. Okay, maybe I'm not going to do it. So anyway, I'll just try to do it with this. So this is the recommended sitting posture. When I go into somebody's workspace, I try to take a look at everything as a whole. And I will actually sit down on my knees on the ground to get a side view of them. Because one of the most important things that I find is that you need to be straight in your workspace from your hips to your knees. So a lot of us are actually way too high in our chairs, and this is because our desks are too tall. So, and the desks are actually made for tall men. So, and most of us are not tall men. But even so, if you are taller, sometimes your knees will actually hit the bottoms of the desks. And so you lower yourself. But so the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're straight from your hips to your knees. And so by doing this, you just want to lower your chair. When you lower your chair, a lot of us, if our chair is too high, we're going to feel like we're slanted and we're falling forward into the desk. And when you fall forward into the desk, then that right there puts pressure on your lower back. And so that's where a lot of the back pain comes in. So what you want to do is you actually want to sit back into your chair while you're typing. So you want to lower your chair to where you are straight from your hip to your knee, and then you have that 90-degree angle in your knees. You also want your feet flat on the floor. Now, I know a lot of you may be petite and you cannot have your feet flat on the floor. If you need to raise your feet in order to get this 90-degree angle, I would suggest either using, you could practice with reams of paper, you could practice with books, but it's a good idea to have something that's flat, that actually mimics the floor. Because if you have something slanted, and I know a lot of these footrests out there are slanted, all you're doing is you're kind of putting a crook in your ankle and cutting off that blood supply. And so this is why when people come down, they bring their chair down and they have their feet on the floor instead of actually dangling, or they're trying to balance on their chair right here, then they feel more comfortable. Also, when you bring your chair down, like I said, it rocks you back into your chair, so you're not feeling like you're falling forward. When you are in this position, this entire position, and we'll go through the upper body in a second, you should feel zero pain while you're working. So no tension on any piece of the body. So moving up the body. Oh, and the other thing too is how you can measure your seat pan. I know a lot of the chairs out there don't have a lot of the ergonomic adjustable features, but right here, you should be able to put 3 fingers in this slot, and your first finger should be able to touch the back of the knee, and the third finger should be able to touch the front of the seat pan. And so that's how you're able to tell if your seat pan is long enough or short enough. If your seat pan is too long, it will be touching right here. and that can actually rub on the back of your knee. If your seat pan is too short, it will actually put tension right here. And I've had some women tell me that they've had that restless leg syndrome just because it's putting tension on some of the tendons right here. And it ends up becoming uncomfortable. Okay, so upper body, moving up. So this picture does not depict what I always say, but I think I need a better picture. This actually right here needs to be cradling your back. So this is your lumbar support in here, and this is where you actually need to sit back into the chair and let the chair take hold of you and support you. This is why sitting is so important compared to standing, because once you lean back in that chair allows all the muscles to relax. I was taught in keyboarding class that you sit on the edge of your chair and you kind of perch up and you sit straight up. Well, when you do that, you think about all those back muscles kind of just grabbing on and they're holding that tension. Well, every day that you come into work, those back muscles, I mean, it's great even if you have, really tight core muscles, but those back muscles get worn out over time. And so eventually they will start to hurt. And that's where that pain comes in. So you just want to make sure that you are definitely supported back here by your chair. Most chairs come up here above your shoulders. Some chairs, have the neck rests as well, which are nice. But as far as your elbows, so this is another point I can make, and we can kind of do an exercise, and I know this is kind of hard over Zoom, but this is where your typing height should be. You should actually have a 90-degree elbow when you're typing. And so the exercise that I always use is I always have people scoot back away from their desk. I have them put their hands in their lap, and then I have them look straight ahead at their monitors. I then have them close their eyes, and I have them take a deep breath. And when I do that, you can see kind of them take a deep breath and allow all that tension to flow out. Then I ask them to actually just raise their hands to where they have that 90-degree angle. And a lot of times what they realize, and what you may realize too, is that your hands are actually much lower than your keyboard and your mouse. And so if you are feeling any tension in your upper back, in your neck, even in your lower back, you may actually be reaching higher than you should. And so you want to be able to bring those elbows back towards your body, right next to your body, have everything relaxed. And then also here you can see has a straight wrist. It's not upward. That's where the carpal tunnel comes in, but it has a straight wrist. This in this picture, it has a keyboard tray, but the person has that 90-degree angle here and then sitting straight up. And then with the monitor is actually an arm's length away and it's at eye level. Some people actually want to have the monitor a little higher, and some people actually want to have the monitor a little bit lower. I think it just depends if you have bifocals, trifocals, or it just depends on where you like to work on the monitor. And some people have, smaller monitors versus the large wide monitors. So, okay, so that is the recommended sitting posture. This picture, as well as the posture tips, are out on our website. So if you have any questions, you can go back to that. But this is exactly what I go over with folks. And then we talk about kind of some solutions of how to get you in this posture. Okay, so if anybody is building, so my coworker actually built her own desk at home. So if you're at home and you're trying to figure out a good sitting height, there are actually charts out there. So I just wanted to make you aware out on the internet of how tall your desk should be, how tall, where you should be typing at. So just wanted to let you know about that. Okay, so let's just go over some examples about just lower body things that I had talked about. So as you can see, this is where I had somebody who was slanted downward and she felt like she was falling out of her chair and she doesn't have that 90-degree angle. Here, we actually put her in that 90-degree angle and she's actually sitting back in her chair. But as you kind of see, there is a difference now in the desk height. Over here, this gentleman was actually sitting too low in his chair. And so he was actually sitting back and he always felt like he had to prop himself up. And this is just because his knees are actually higher than when they should be. So here, the upper body concerns. Again, here is the reaching. So as you can see how high the desk is, and here is the keyboard and the mouse. This gal was having some pain in her shoulders and her upper back. And it was just because when you put your hands higher than they should be, all of those muscles again are holding those hands to being able to type and mouse all day. Here we put her back into her chair, got her in that 90-degree angle where her wrists are straight. But again, as you can see, this is where her keyboard and her mouse are. So they're a lot higher than they should actually be. And then this gal over here was having a lot of lower back pain. She is off of her chair. She's not using the back of her chair at all while working. She's slanted up front. She's slanted down here and her feet are kind of propping her up here. And so this is primarily where her pain was in the lower back. Upper body, head and monitor placement. So a lot of us are working with laptops. And when I look at this gal that I was helping over here, she is actually looking downward at her monitor. And so she was having a lot of neck pain and back pain. So as you can see, she was not using her chair at all to help out her back or her back right here. She was kind of sitting on the edge of that chair, but she was also having that neck pain just because she was looking down. This guy over here, again, he was looking down as well. And it was difficult because he had the shelves up above. So we actually removed 3 of these storage bins that he wasn't using up here. So he could prop his monitors up higher. And I think he propped them up on books or, like I said, again, reams of paper or monitor holders to get them to eye level. And then this gal, you know, she was actually really good. She was at eye level. Her chin was straight. She also had that 90-degree angle. Her wrist, well, she has her hands up right now, but she does have a keyboard tray that had come out and she's using the back of her chair for support. Okay, so getting into standing. I have had a lot of people ask me about standing, and I've actually gone out to a lot of offices because trying to figure out what is the best sit to stand desk for them. One of the questions I get most often is, does standing burn more calories than sitting? So I think these are the health gurus that are out here. So I looked it up and it says standing actually burns 0.15 more calories a minute than sitting does. So if you are someone who is 143 pounds and you stood for 6 hours per day rather than sitting, you would burn about 54 more calories per day. So, you know, I guess you could say, okay, it does burn a little bit more calories. I personally would like you to get up and get away from your desk, walk up and down the stairs, walk around the building and burn calories that way. It does improve health conditions. There has been studies that it has improved heart disease, diabetes, a little bit of cancer. And I think it's just because you're getting up. You're getting that blood flow and that circulation versus, sitting at your desk 8 to 10 hours a day. Reduces chronic back pain. Now, I will tell you, this is a big one. A lot of people use standing desks because they want to get rid of the back pain. But this is when I go out, I will ask the first question, or I will say, let's figure out how you're sitting before you stand. Because a lot of times people want to stand because they're not sitting in the proper position. And so they're hurting themselves while they're sitting. And so then they want to stand, but then standing, on the other hand, like I said, still has pressure on some parts of the body one way or the other. So it's kind of, again, it's that vicious cycle of, we want to sit, but then it hurts. So we stand, but then it gets tiring, back and forth, back and forth. So that's why I talk about sitting first, because I think standing can be a benefit. I know when I hurt my back, I actually had to stand all the time just because it reduced the pain. But I think it is a good thing, but I do think you need to learn how to sit first. It does increase energy levels and moods for those of us who like a big lunch, and then we sit in our chair in the afternoon and we kind of get tired and we kind of get fatigued. Standing can make a huge difference. And if you're in an office by yourself, you put some music on, you're moving and you're grooving while you're working. I think that does boost your energy and boost your mood. And so once those energy levels up, I think it does help with the creativity and the productivity. So your recommended standing posture, this won't take very long because the upper body is exactly like the sitting posture. But while you're standing, you just want to make sure that you stand up straight with your knees slightly bent, because you don't want to lock your knees, and that will lead to lack of circulation, which can lead to lightheadedness, and you don't want to fall over during work. Relaxed shoulders, you want to make sure that wherever you stand, you have those relaxed shoulders. Some of these sit to stand desks have these positioned, I guess, height levels, and you just want to make sure that you're at a level that you're not lifting your shoulders, that all the tension, there's no tension in any part of the body. You still want those elbows at a 90 degree and that wrist straight. The biggest thing with standing, I have been out to a lot of workstations that people have actually built their workstations. And the thing about standing is you want to make sure that your monitors are at eye level, and then you have your hands down here. Now, this is interesting. With everything on Zoom, I have had a lot of customers ask me, what do I do with Zoom? Because I feel like I'm looking down at my laptop, or I'm looking down at my computer, and then I have neck pain or I have back pain. So, with your laptop, even if you're an instructor, if you're giving a meeting, you can actually prop that laptop up on something so where it is at eye level. I know you can't see what I've done, but I'm actually sitting back in my chair right now. I'm comfortable, and I've actually propped my laptop up on several reams of paper. So I'm not looking down, I'm not bending over into my laptop, and I feel like I'm straight up and down. So this is the posture that you want while standing. Common mistakes of the upper body. Okay, so I took these pictures at Christmas, so you'll see the Christmas tree. This is my home. Welcome to my home. Some of the common mistakes of the upper body when people stand. So here, obviously I'm on my kitchen island and the laptop is way too low. I'm looking downwards, and so it's putting pressure on my neck. I have the rolled shoulders, so I'm rolling them forward. And as you can see, my wrists are bent upwards. Over here, I have watched my daughter, who is in college, when she was on Zoom for everything, she was actually using the laptop. And so I tried to get in the position that she's in, and she's actually bent over because she gets tired of standing. And now you're putting a lot of pressure on the shoulders and the upper back. And again, you know, the monitor is a little bit too low. Lower body concerns, again, you know, pressure on the lower back here, locking the knees. You don't want to lock the knees, and you don't want to stand on a hard surface. So this is where the anti-fatigue mats come into play. And these are so important, just because you need to stand on something that is cushioned. You need to stand on something that won't hurt your legs all day. And these also do give you more energy and a longer time for standing. If you're at home and you're looking at a low-cost standing desk, I've actually taken a lot of these board games of my kids and propped them up. And I tried to get myself in this 90-degree position. Adjustable height desk for Petite. I've had those that are Petite use an ironing board at home. This is a little too low for me. As you can see, my elbows are not at a 90-degree, but if somebody is Petite and they need to adjust their keyboard and their mouse, they can do that as well. So for standing, review, again, you can review the recommended standing posture out on our website. Only stand 20 to 40 minutes at a time. Wear well-cushioned shoes. Tennis shoes are great. Use an anti-fatigue mat. You can find those out on Amazon, or you can actually go to, I use my kitchen ones from Walmart. They're in the Walmart section for about $16. And continue to take your micro breaks and your breaks. So laptop users, the concerns I see for laptop users are the eyes, the neck, just because you're looking downwards, the lower back, and your knees, because a lot of times people are falling forward on their knees. You know, if you're at home and you're trying to find that comfortable position, I tried, you know, sitting at the kitchen island, and of course it was hurting my back up here, upper back, lower back. It was hurting my knees because I was putting pressure on them. I tried sitting at my coffee table. Again, it was putting pressure on my upper back and onto my wrists. And here, upper back, lower back, neck, and I was also looking down. None of these work for me. I had to create a desk space. I had to create something with lumbar support. You know, if you have the room to set up an external monitor, that's great. I think using an external keyboard or mouse is great too. I actually took my desk and I propped up my laptop here on several books. And then I had an external keyboard and mouse just so I could get my hands lower than I needed to. Other things you can use a laptop stand. So if you used a keyboard and mouse down here, but you could prop your laptop up on a stand, you can attach a keyboard tray to your desk to be able to get your hands lower than the desk height. And then you can also use pillows for supporting your arms, and then zooming in for easier viewing. This one came in because a lot of us do use the laptop, and a lot of times it's hard during the end of the day to see those small icons, or even if you're doing a lot of research on the internet. And so, you know, if you just push the control button and then you use the scroll button on your mouse, you can easily zoom in and out. So this is not perfect, but it was comfortable for me. I actually, when I'm at home, I actually sit on my couch and I have that back support. I have my 90-degree angle and my feet are flat on the floor. I also use pillows for support, and I look down at my laptop. That's the only bad thing about this, but I do tend to take more breaks. over here at my desk, you know, putting the pillow there. The only thing I can't do is the elbows here, but I've made it to where I'm sitting straight up and down. I have that 90-degree angle in my knees and my feet are flat on the floor. Hi, Paul. Am I getting close?
We're getting a little close to time, but we had 2 questions I thought we might.
Sure, yeah.
One is about whether or not you or your team do assessments in home for people who work from home.
So I have done assessments in home. I don't go to the home. So what I usually do is because I've done them for people in Springfield and St. Louis, is I actually have somebody take a picture. If they can get somebody to take a side picture of them in several angles, and then they send me those pictures so I can look at them, and then I will do a Zoom meeting and we'll look at the pictures together and try to figure out some solutions of how to help. So, yep.
The other question was, what's your opinion on yoga balls for chairs?
Yoga balls. Actually, I'm going to skip to, I have so many slides, you guys. Okay, so this slide that I have up right now, I don't mind yoga balls. So I had a gal who was in that Healthy for Life and she was like, yay, yoga balls. And then I actually promote the GAM balance ball chair. Yoga balls are fine, except they're meant to be used at a small period of time. Because the thing about yoga balls is they don't have the back support that you need to be able to sit back in that chair. Because if you do, you're going to roll off. So for safety hazard, or for, taking safety precautions, this GAM balance ball chair has been really popular. And then also those little things next to it, these little, I don't know, they're heighteners. So you can actually heighten the chair. The thing about a yoga ball that you've got to think about is, if you have a keyboard tray, an adjustable keyboard tray, it's usually going to be fine, because when you sit on a yoga ball, you're going to sink into that ball, right? So you need to bring everything down, your keyboard and your mouse. And a lot of people don't think about that. And so with something like this, this balance ball chair, you have that safety precaution on the back, plus you can heighten your chair to get you up closer to your keyboard and your mouse. So that's my thought. I'm not against it, but I always say use it, use it for probably 20, 30 minutes and then go back to your chair, because it doesn't have that back support and your body needs that support.
We just got another question in. Do you have any simple solutions for taller people sitting at a desk that is really too short? I've had people actually put blocks underneath if they can. I was going to say that's primarily it. I can't, having it something too short. That's the only way I would heighten a desk that it's too short, is to actually put blocks or build it up somehow. Yeah. Or find a desk. And any thoughts about kneeling chairs?
Huh?
And any thoughts about kneeling chairs?
Yes, so the kneeling chair I have on screen too. I have had wonderful reviews about it. There's a bunch of reviews out on it. I got all of these from Amazon too, just because I've had customers actually tell me about them. And so the kneeling chair, again, is really good, especially for lower back problems and hip problems. But then again, it does not have the back support, I think, that you need. These are just kind of alternative chairs to your supportive chair. So you use them 20, 30 minutes at a time, just kind of like when you stand, and then you go back to your other chair. I had one person who had a lot of back pain. She had several surgeries, and she was using 3 different chairs throughout the day. So she would use one kind of like the yoga chair. She used the kneeling chair. She would stand for 20 minutes, and then she had her regular chair. So she would just kind of rotate, and that worked for her. But yeah.
I want to be sensitive to time, but also give you a chance to wrap up. If there's anything that you'd like to share at the end or a way that folks could contact you.
Yeah, you guys, I have several other things, on here that things for improving vision, especially I think one of the big things that we've come across in our office is the headaches of being on the computer for so long and that blue light. And just for those that need help with that, of course, you have the blue light glasses. And if you go out on Amazon, they're pretty cheap and they're pretty fashionable. And they work really well. I even have passed on this information to my kids and for their education, and also eliminating that blue light on your computer with Flux, which is a free program, and then Nightlight. But we also, we have tools that on our website that you guys can look at, from the text to speech to dictation in O365, which is awesome for dictating emails. If your wrists and your fingers get tired, or if you have a lot of pain in there. But yeah, our website, actcenter.missouri.edu, has information out there. If you want me to come to your office and do an evaluation and talk with you about this, there is a form out there that I will that you can fill out, and it comes directly to me. But otherwise, you can email me at thornhilljay@missouri.edu, and I would be happy to answer any questions. So.
Well, thank you so much for your knowledge and your investment in us having a workspace that works for us. Really appreciate the message you had today. I currently have a herniated disc, and I think it's pretty sure because of how I've been sitting. So I've got a lot of good things from this actually myself.
Good. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I hope you just got at least one or two takeaways from it. And you can, like I said, you can use this in the office or at home. So, yep.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Jennifer. Really appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us again. And I want to put a plug in for your website because it is just rich with information. So, yay.
Yay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.